And ladies and gentlemen, we are back with the Hot Tag. This is episode 12. AJ Pan here. We have a new co-host joining me today. A lot of you have been asking for it, or you've been wanting to see what would happen if we got together with Team AJ here. AJ Orsini.
Right. How you doing, buddy?
I don't know. We got to start off with the Hot Tag.
Yeah,
there we go.
yes.
Boom. See, we missed
Hot
a month, and I even lost my...
Oh, that's all right, man. See, I don't want to throw off the rhythm here. I'm here to contribute and here to be part of the team. I don't want to rock the boat. So I'm very excited to be here. I'm glad I got to do the Hot Tag. Team Pancini or Team AJ, whichever one.
I like that.
Hashtag anything you'd like.
Yes.
Please make us more popular.
Exactly.
So we are here to discuss...
WWE Night of Champions, which takes
WWE
place...
Night of Champions. That's going to be a good show.
It is. It's an interesting card, especially coming off of SummerSlam.
Which you guys, I'm very saddened I didn't get a chance to see a SummerSlam Hot Tag.
Yeah, it was a difficult...
It's becoming part of my tradition now to see these shows leading up to the pay-per-view.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah,
and it should be yours too, by the way. You guys should be checking this show out. It's a really good show. This is going to be a good one too, fingers crossed.
Of course, yes, definitely. But yeah, and I think people maybe in Stanford are watching this because, as we were talking before we went on air, they added the pre-show live to the pay-per-view channels for SummerSlam.
Kudos to this man.
So
you called it.
I think they heard the calls that I've been making, and
AJ Pan making it work. See, I always consider myself, one of my nicknames is your host for all things pro wrestling related. By the way, BT Dub, that is too long a nickname. Too long. I gotta find a shorter one. But as good as I think I am, I'm not America's favorite agent. And you can honestly tell he's making waves, folks. They're listening up there in Connecticut.
It's a must-watch show as we try to put on every time we're out here.
That's right.
And I'm glad you're a part of it.
We gotta get this. I'm extremely excited to be a part of it. We gotta get this hashtag thing going.
That's it.
We gotta be worldwide. We got a trend. That's the new thing now.
Yes, trend.
That's right.
Yeah, we might have the Hot Tag app coming. I don't know. We'll talk about that.
And all of you should buy it the minute that we put it out. You guys should buy it. Pre-order it if you can. Yes. If you can buy it before you can get it, that's a good thing too.
But we have Night of Champions, yes, this Sunday, the 15th, held live in Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, Motor City.
A lot of great pay-per-view events were held there. WrestleMania 3 is one that comes to mind.
That's right, WrestleMania 3, WrestleMania 23 was held in, I don't think it was Detroit exactly, was it? Ford Field? It was
Ford Field, yes.
Yeah, Pontiac, I think it is.
Yes.
Yeah, Pontiac, Michigan. So it's a great wrestling town. Has
it
been
is.
For a long time. Great sports town in general. So Night of Champions is going to fit right in there.
I think it will, and it has an interesting card coming off of SummerSlam.
Not a huge card, which I think is good. I mean, it gives more development to what you're trying to do. I mean, we have 5 scheduled matches on the actual show.
5 or 6, yes.
And then
when they could always add a surprise.
Right, yeah. Well, we can always use some more Divas matches, right, guys?
Well, one thing that bothers me about this pay-per-view.
One thing that's we're going to start off with negativity off the bat. My first day here, and he wants to go right to the neck. Go ahead, I'm ready for it.
Well, since this is Night of Champions, when they first started this pay-per-view, it was every championship to be defended.
Right.
One match is not for a championship, and there are championships that have been left off of the card.
Yes.
So it's, kind of, that's the whole point. If you want to make a pay-per-view special, we don't want to see things we would normally see on Raw and SmackDown.
Right.
So this was kind of, Night of Champions. Like, wow, we don't really see all the titles defended, really, especially on Raw and SmackDown. They get forgotten, like the IC belt, the United States title. So every belt would be defended, and not the case this year.
It's an opinion. Don't shoot me. But I think this year they're probably going for quality over quantity. I guess they figured instead of doing 6 or 7 matches with just belts, we'll give you 4 or 5, and then we'll throw in some mixes. Ironically enough, this one match that doesn't have a championship for it is CM Punk. This is not his first time on Night of Champions without a title match.
No.
I believe he did a handicap match not too long, a couple years back, Straight Edge Society years against Big Show. So he's been on this pay-per-view without a championship before. This is another handicap match, actually, matter of fact.
Exactly.
So I guess they figure if we're not going to put a belt on Punk for this pay-per-view, let's just throw a lot of opponents at him all at once, or team him up with a bunch of people and load up. So
yes.
The United States Championship, I believe, is also another one that's not.
No, it is.
It is being
it will be defended. Yes.
Okay. We got the 2 world titles. We got the tag titles. We got the Divas title on the line.
Yes, so it's basically the IC belt that's not being defended.
Once again, what is they don't like the IC belt? No favoritism at all, no seniority.
And that's the one they created.
Yeah, I know.
They put that over the United States title.
I think USA. I think they're more saturated with, we're doing a lot of global work as it is. Let's pat ourselves in the back a little bit. Plus, Dean Ambrose being the U.S. champion right now. I mean, he's making a lot of waves.
He is, yeah. The Shield has been a dominant force in the business.
Man, right off the bat, negativity, man. This guy.
Yeah, you know.
He's more of an optimistic person. I know him. He's a pretty good guy. I like to keep a smile on my face.
I try. Like to me, SummerSlam, and it was a good show until the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, well,
I enjoyed SummerSlam throughout until
all the way up until the last.
Until, as all viewers know, the nose got involved. Triple himself.
Nose.
I didn't even mind Orton getting involved. It was Triple H getting involved.
So Randy Orton cashes in, no Triple H interference. You're still cool.
I would have been okay. I would have been a little aggravated, but I wouldn't have been as annoyed.
It's the turn that really.
It's Triple H having to stick that big nose in the main event picture. Now we're getting 20. We're going back. We're going old school, and not in the way I like. We're getting 20-minute Raw promos with him every week since that happened.
The game has turned. And as the new face of the company, listen. Up until the turn, I agree with you. I think it was a pretty well developed show. I think the turn, but I think it's a good job on the dev. I'll give them credit for one thing. I don't think a lot of people saw the turn. I think a lot of people saw the cash in, and I just think with the COO thing, I don't think many people thought that he would go that route again. And now that he is, we're back to the whole. I think that for some odd reason, when Triple H turned heel, so did his entire family. Now the entire family are bad guys, and they're doing what's that McMahon Helmsley era part 2?
Yeah.
And now we're attacking Daniel Bryan rather than Stone Cold Steve Austin. So, hey, I mean they were both technicians. Let's see how this works out.
We will definitely see. So let's get down to the meat and potatoes of the card.
Oh yeah, I like meat and potatoes. Yeah.
So we have on the pre-show, Fatal 4-Way or Tag Team Turmoil match.
Tag Team Turmoil. I haven't heard that one in a while, but yes, no, that's accurate. That's what it is.
Yeah. 3-man band. I don't know which 2 members will be in. It's Heath Slater.
Doesn't matter. Guaranteed.
Heath Slater,
money.
Drew McIntyre,
that's
or Jinder Mahal.
3MB.
3MB. Yeah.
Doesn't matter. They can pick the names out of a hat. It's gonna draw.
They're in there with tons of funk.
All
Brodus
right.
Clay and Tenzai. The Real Americans, Jack Swagger and Antonio Cesaro, my team. And the primetime players, Darren Young and...
We got more, no?
No, it's Fatal 4-Way.
No, Turmoil, not Fatal 4-Way.
It's only 4 teams, though.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
Don't confuse us.
We're lucky that he has enough tag teams. So.
Well, they don't.
They don't, exactly. That's why.
Even with the ones that they have, I believe. So, I mean, this is a great opportunity, as we just said. I mean, there's not a whole lot of tag teams in the WWE. So, just the fact that they're exposing their tag teams to this audience and giving them an opportunity to compete against the hottest team in the WWE, the Shield.
Yes.
I think it's pre-show, but you know what? I mean, you could not be on the pre-show. You could be in the locker room doing nothing. So, I mean, it's a great opportunity to showcase what you really have. A lot of teams have been stepping up as of late. They haven't gotten much time, but I'm really happy to say they've utilized their time relatively well. So, I'm curious as to who's going to come out with this. The last show you guys did Money in the Bank, and you guys had a real difficult time picking those ladder matches. I'm having a real difficult time picking this one because there's a few I would actually like to see come out of this and get a shot. Win or lose, I still would love to see them get a shot.
Yeah, it is tough. Most of the teams, they actually have a couple things going for them. Well, 3-man band, they haven't really been used to where they could be at this point.
Oh, well.
Tons of Funk, they have the Total Divas stuff behind them.
Yeah,
At least the association with the Funkadactyl, so that's...
Well, one of the members of Tons of Funk, I haven't seen too much Tensai or Sweet Tea or whatever you want to call him on Total Divas.
No, not too well. He's a smart.
Yes, I have been watching Total Divas.
It's a great show. That'll be for another episode. It's an
I'm
interesting
sick
show.
Of people saying it's sacrilegious to watch that show. Yes, it's a reality TV show, but so is everything else.
Yeah.
So I hate to break it to you, Raw and SmackDown has been a reality TV show for over a decade, 2 decades almost now. So get over yourselves. It's still got wrestling in it. It's still promoting your brand, so support it.
And above all else, it's got the numbers behind it. So someone's watching it.
So,
if you're not watching it, someone's watching it.
For those of you out there who would rather watch Lou Thesz, then maybe this isn't the show for you. But Total Divas promotes the wrestling business. You should get behind it.
I agree. So the Real Americans too. They've been back and forth on push, not push, where the E is going with them. But they have a great character to them. Zeb Coulter's phenomenal on the mic.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have been telling me, well, they're kind of in the middle. I think right now in the middle is really, really need to be. I mean, think about it. Think of history as far as these pay-per-views go. In the middle is where you get the most action. You mix between the lower card and the main event guys. In the middle is, I mean, especially Cesaro.
Yes.
Cesaro, to me personally, I mean, go a long way with this gentleman, and I know this guy. I know you as well. Know all about this gentleman. Not to say that Swagger is any less of an athlete, but man, there's a lot of matchups I'm still waiting for with Cesaro. So I mean, that's one of those teams I was mentioning. I would love to see get a shot. I think those two against the Shield live on pay-per-view would be pretty interesting. That'd be a great matchup, I think.
And the primetime players.
Yes.
I hate to say, but I think the reason they're getting a push lately is because of D. Young's little announcement on TMZ.
Which kind of sucks because before the announcement, they actually were doing really well.
Yeah.
But
millions of dollars.
Millions of dollars.
Millions of dollars. Millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Millions of dollars.
It is a shame. They were doing really well beforehand, and then all of a sudden, overnight, we got 8 tag teams, and then overnight, they all disappeared.
Yes.
And that kind of sucks because the whole point of the tournament was to get teams over, and this was one of the teams that actually did.
Yes.
And then it just kind of floated into obscurity, and we never heard from them. And then he makes this announcement, and all of a sudden now
the fans love him. They became faces overnight.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the fans, I think were interested in the gimmick before. Now the response to me is more of a sign of respect because it is tough to do, especially in this business where very, very touchy-feely this business. And for you to openly admit something like that, it could come back to haunt you in some way. So it was gutsy, and I support everything that he does.
Oh, definitely.
Right, but on the other hand, this is the popular ideal that this is why they're getting this push, and it really isn't. Titus has been looked at as a future star for a while now, and Darren's always been a good technician. So, they were a good team before, so I'm not going to say that. So that's another team of the 4 that we mentioned. I'm like pulling for. Hopefully they can get that.
So are you going to go primetime players for the win?
As far as pick for the turmoil match, no, I'm going to go Real Americans for my pick.
Okay.
I think as much as the primetime players have gotten more of a reaction, I think for the future, I think right now as far as who they're really backing, I think the Real Americans have also been making some noise. So I'm going Real Americans. For my personal pick, I want to see those guys go.
Okay. I'm going to go with the primetime players, actually.
I'm going to ride the wave of momentum.
That's what I think is happening. I think, they're on that wave.
AJ Pat never hedges his bet, folks. He's going with the hot team.
That's it. You have to. No, but they're on a roll lately. Seems creative's behind them. The fans are getting behind them. They're the only ones out of that 3 that are pretty consistent on where you kind of see a view going for them. So I think they're going to ride into that tag team.
But we got to be careful. It just seems like it's impossible for more than one team to be hot at the same time. Like the Usos are hot, but let's bring them now.
Yeah.
And let's promote this team, and can't we all just promote them all? I mean, they were all pretty good teams. We've been complaining about tag team wrestling for a while. They haven't promoted it, and now they have them, and they're still not promoting it. So.
I agree. Tag team wrestling is not dead out there.
No, far from it. No, far from it.
Yes.
Oh man. So, yes, Real Americans. That's where I'm.
I want to say primetime players.
All right.
All right. So now going into the tag team title match, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns against the Real Americans,
or the primetime,
right?
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. I can give you my pick right off the bat. Either team, my team or your team wins, doesn't matter to me. I see Shield retaining the titles. As hot as the 2 teams are that we just talked about, the Shield's even hot.
Oh yeah.
So right now, I just think I believe just from what I'm seeing, the WWE is kind of in a let it ride mode right now. They're just going to see how long and how hard these guys can run, and see if it's because there's one thing to get popular, there's one thing to stay popular. You could ask Spud McKenzie that one. All right, it's one thing to be huge and stay huge.
Yeah.
And right now they're doing well, and I wish them all the best. And I don't see either of them. I picked my pick based on I think it would be the more entertaining match. I don't see them. I don't see the Shield losing at Night of Champions. Not yet. Not in a. I'm not going to say lower tier pay-per-view, but if it's not the big 4, I don't see them dropping it.
Yeah, I agree. I see the Shield coming out on top this one as well. So. Yeah, they're on a hot streak. They're the corporate bodyguards, corporate security. We're going to call them for the healthy organization.
It took DX's role from the original McMahon Helmsley era.
Yes.
They were the hired muscle back then. Right?
So now it's the Shield. So we're going with the Shield for the tag team titles.
Yeah, I think we're in agreement with that. Oh yeah,
there we go.
Yeah,
hot tag. Yes.
System for Mr. Lewis. Yes. So yeah, I see the Shield.
Okay. So now we're going to go to the United States Championship match. Dean Ambrose.
Another Shield member.
Yes, he defends against the show-off, Dolph Ziggler.
That's a good match.
That is going to be a very good match.
I wish. See, I do believe that Dean Ambrose is a really efficient wrestler. I think he's a good technique. I don't think he's terrible in the ring. I do believe that his strongest attribute is his brain and his ability to tell a story. And I just think with a matchup like this, enjoy the matchup now, because this matchup will happen again in 3 years, and believe me, it's going to be built up a lot better than it is now. The fact that this match is being kind of thrown in, it's not going to take away from the quality of the match, but at the same time, it would have been a lot better if they would have given these two guys the stick. Because Dolph Ziggler, people are sleeping on his ability to do promos now. He's gotten a lot better.
Oh, yeah.
And he's shooting on people now, and he really is showing off. So I think this is going to be a great match. I'm really looking forward to it. I wish it would have been built up a little stronger, but I'll take it. This is going to be, it's going to be a great match. Yeah,
I'm in agreement there. Ambrose and Ziggler, two of the strongest, I think, competitors in the WWE right now. Yeah. Ziggler, but due to unforeseen circumstances, his world title run got shafted, got tossed out.
Right.
So now he's in a process of rebuilding. It looks like. Trying to
Isn't he always though? And that's kind of the sad part, right?
It is. It
always seems like he's in that situation where he's up, he's down, he's up, he's down. No matter how talented he is, he always seems to be in the doghouse for something. So.
Yeah, I'm glad he's out of a feud though with Big E.
When Punk does it, it's cool. Yeah. But when Ziggler does it, there's only room for one rebel apparently in the WWE.
At a time, yeah. Well, they can't control that too many rebels.
Well, yeah, you want to clamp it down, that's for sure. I like this matchup. I think these two are going to do a great job. The United States Championship on the line, and that to me is what changes everything. Because I think on Raw and SmackDown, Ziggler takes this. With the title on the line, I don't see it happening. I think Ambrose is in the same boat with the rest of his teammates. They're just gonna let it go and see what happens and see where he goes. They know he can talk. I think everyone's aware of that. Yeah. They're just trying to see. I think he can carry himself physically before they let him talk, like they did with Punk. Because Punk didn't touch a microphone for 2 years.
Yeah.
They just Can you tell a story physically before you talk? And I think that's the process he's in now, and this is the first step.
I don't see the title changing hands either. I think they're gonna maybe start to wait till maybe October, whatever the October pay-per-view is, just for the fact that they're gonna wait.
They got 2 in October. That's a little weird. They got Battleground, and then they got Hell in a Cell.
Hell in a Cell, yeah.
I thought that was a little weird, a little overkill. Guys.
Yeah,
a little much. But yeah, well, I guess we'll talk about that
another
time.
Yes.
We'll get to Battleground and Hell in a Cell. I mean, Hot Side's going to be here for a long time. We got plenty of shows to talk about.
But yeah, I think they're going to wait a little while, and at least if they're going to start to show the chinks in the armor of the new regime.
Yes.
I think it's too soon, especially the way they've been building. Triple H, Randy Orton, the Shield's so strong against Daniel Bryan and any other rebels who have tried to stick up for Bryan like Dolph Ziggler. They're gonna wait, I think, till maybe a month before Survivor Series before we start to see some dissension in the.
I don't think Shield was losing any steam, but adding them to the whole Triple H deal just kind of. That's just money on top of money. There's no way he drops that belt now. I mean, like we just said, Dolph Ziggler. Just to give you I just saw Dolph Ziggler on Main Event and NXT in the same week. So yeah, the fact that he's on the show, I'm extremely happy about.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You want to talk about overkill? They are working this guy. So hey, pay your dues and do what you got to do, and he'll be back on top.
So we're saying Ambrose for the win?
I think we're both saying Ambrose again. Yes, another hot tag.
Yes. Uh-oh.
I am killing it today. Yes.
We're on a roll here.
Yes. Butter me, baby. I'm on a roll. Let's go. So what's the next
Now
match?
we have the WWE Divas title match.
Oh, my favorite championship.
Yes.
That's my favorite one. The one with the butterfly, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love that championship. That's not sarcasm. I actually do like it now. I think there was a bit of a run there where it was just kind of.
Yeah, it was a little too gimmicky. It looked
but that's why I like the Total Divas thing, because without it, does AJ really have a credible contender?
No.
Not really.
Yeah, we can't see her and Caitlyn now.
So what Total Divas does is it gives exposures to the other divas, and now we have people watching the show who probably normally wouldn't be watching it.
Exactly.
And actually believing they have a good shot of taking the belt off this girl. So hey, more power to them. I think this is going to be a fatal 4-way, right?
Yes.
Oh man.
It's going to be interesting. We have AJ Lee versus Natalia, or Natty as they call her on.
Natty Ice, baby.
Brie Bella.
Brie Bella, the technician, yes.
And Naomi. Which is Ariane. She's Ariane, right? Or she's Cameron.
No, that's
Which one?
Oh, you're talking about
and on Total Divas.
On Total Naomi?
She's Ariane, isn't she?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
That one.
I
didn't say I studied it. I just said that I've seen it, folks. I glance. Okay, I have the caption on and I try to follow. So.
Oh, okay, the closed caption.
Yes, the closed caption. They're not all for the hearing impaired. Sometimes I gotta zone in, So it's a fatal four-way
Fatal
matchup.
four-way.
Divas Championship on the line.
AJ Lee is on fire. Her first promo coming out during the little three-way match
Interesting promo.
put these girls to shame.
Right.
And then this past week on Raw, she put Jerry Lawler and JBL to shame on commentary. She was going.
She had a few good shots. I
Yeah.
think she was a little overbearing a little bit. I think there was moments there where she just kept talking, and not everything. Less is more, folks. You're not gonna hit a home run at every at bat. Okay, just because you're in front of a microphone doesn't mean that you're gonna do a Flair promo every single time. She had a lot of good shots on commentary.
She did.
And
I just like it for the fact that
talking.
Lawler, I love Lawler. I'm a huge fan of Jerry Lawler, but there are plenty of times that he does not watch the product, and I love for her just shouting him out on that. There was a great back in the day when they did the first ECW invasion, and he had no idea who Hornswoggle was because he was on SmackDown when he first debuted, and everybody, I think Jim Ross was commentating with Lawler, just kept quiet. And Styles and Taz just ripped on him. They're like, I'm begging you to watch the product, Jerry. And he's just like, what?
He has, when you're at that level in this business, let's be honest, you don't have to watch. It's not going to cost him his job. But at the same time, there are those moments where it does come back to bite you. Yes. AJ got him, and she has main evented a lot of different shows. She has main evented pay-per-views, so she's done a lot of stuff. When I was literally at WrestleMania. And when they promote WrestleMania, they only put a certain amount of stars on the outside of the building and these little flags and stuff just to kind of showcase their top talent. AJ was one of them. She was one of 6. 5 guys, and Taker was one of them. They believe she was in between Taker and Lesnar. So, she's made some freaking waves, guys.
Yes.
And this 4-ways, that's the wrestling side of it, though. The other 3 divas are coming in now on the reality TV side of it. They're actual performers, but they are now getting more name out there from the E! channel. So This is what the WWE loves to do. A combination of a lot of different things all thrown into one. There's going to be some lines on this one. I don't know if the casual fan will buy the pay-per-view just to see this divas match, but if 5 did, that's 5 more than we thought was going to do it.
Exactly.
So it all counts.
If any of the Total Divas fans, too, happen to buy it. Like, I want to now see
Right.
these girls I've been watching. Same way people got hooked on Jersey Shore. And they'll watch,
Anything.
whatever, they'll watch whatever they're on. They'll watch their late night appearances.
Oh, boy.
So,
hey, come on. We'll take them all on. We'll come on board. And then when we get the new random fans in, we'll show them some wrestling and get them. That would convert them. We'll turn them over into the dark side.
Yes.
Join this wrestling stuff. That's what we'll do.
So who are you picking out of the 4 ladies involved?
I don't know. Brie Bella's been making some noise, folks. Gotta go with AJ. At least for the fatal 4-way. I do see her dropping the title to one of them at some point. I mean, this Total Diva thing is getting pretty hot. But right now, I think this is just the start of a long, drawn out, some sort of mixed match thing between AJ and the Total Diva girls. So I think for this show, I see her actually retaining the title.
I'm going to go with Brie Bella, actually, to win this. I am going to go on that, because the way the Fatal 4-Way, she can lose the belt without getting pinned.
Right.
So with her little crazy...
Brie could pin Naomi.
Yeah, so I could see that, and an AJ Lee going crazy over that. And that sets up a lot of various promos and interaction between Brie and AJ to keep this free.
I could see
and keep this going for a while.
Because that's the point. I think it's going to go on for a while.
Yeah, because as we said, there's no more credible challenges for AJ. So at least if she has a gripe, if she does not get pinned, but she was the last champion and she deserves a rematch. So none of these girls pinned her to become the champion.
It's a way to go, but now I have a question, not based on what you just said, but I have a general question. We've got 4 ladies.
Yes.
I'm having a hard time figuring out who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. I don't really think they care at this point.
I think Natalia is the predominant, I would say, is the predominant face out of that.
She's the one that everyone supposedly has pity for, right, on the show?
Yeah.
And Brie is the casualty of sisterhood? Is that what
it is? She's the better.
And Naomi is the athlete of her little tandem, so they all have their little backstories. So Naomi, I actually saw live compete for the championship before. I was there at that show that they did. It was at TLC, I believe. It was in the Barclays Center.
She's very athletic. She is definitely.
She is very athletic. She knows what she's doing in there. Natalia knows what she's doing, obviously. Brie's picked her game up. So, I mean, I know people, as far as wrestling fans, are sleeping on this match, but don't. You might see some very creative, especially with AJ in there. She's very creative.
She is.
She can come up with some pretty cool stuff. So this is going to be an interesting match. I see AJ retaining, and you see.
I see Brie.
No tag.
No tag on that one. We had 2 in a row though.
We did. We were out there for a second.
Yeah, we were going on a
good
good
streak.
streak.
See, if you get 3 baskets in a row, then you're on fire, like
Right.
an NBA jam.
Okay.
And I wanted to boom shakalaka, and now I can't.
We'll have to build up to that.
Well, we got some more matches,
We do
right?
have some build.
All right,
Yeah,
so
we
you
got
need to
some.
get on the same page with me.
All right.
Okay.
We have the handicap match coming up now.
Oh, handicap match.
CM Punk taking on
Should
Curtis.
we be calling it that? Is it like the disabled match now? Is that PC to call it a handicap match?
I mean, that's what they still calling it. So.
2013.
Yeah, I don't know. The other one, they're usually on top of that. So.
I'm offended.
It's a 2-on-1 match. How about that?
2-on-1.
Okay.
Right?
CM Punk taking on Curtis Axel, the WWE Intercontinental Champion, and Paul Heyman.
And Paul Heyman, right? The one of the greatest athletic, technically sound managers / promoters of all time.
Yes.
Paul Heyman. And you're laughing, but let me tell you something. To survive all those checks, yeah, tough.
Well, Heyman's one of my all-time favorites.
Yes,
He's been as a character and as a
man.
businessman.
I hope to
not
one day grow up
creative
to be
mind.
Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
I mean, if I could do a quarter of what this guy's done in the business as a promoter myself, let me tell you, he's done a lot.
Yes.
And I think it's because it's Heyman and because it's Punk that the Intercontinental Championship is not on the line. I think that might be the one reason why this story is bigger. Well, no story should be bigger than a championship, in my opinion, but in the WWE, you got to do what you got to do, and I guess this particular situation, it is indeed bigger than the title, and we have the greatest medical doctor segment of all time on Raw to try to get Paul Heyman out of this matchup.
Dr. Kirschenbaum.
That's right. The one without, he might have needed a doctor for his face after that one. I think he owes Punk money. I'm not entirely sure.
He might.
A little backlotted on real estate, but Punk he's got to come off that Lesnar thing looking somewhat okay. He has to. I mean, we all said it beforehand. I didn't see how he could credibly win that match, but he was still a great match.
It was a
still
fantastic
a great
match. Phenomenal encounter.
But, I mean, people ran it down. You know, he lost to The Rock twice in a row at the beginning of the year. He lost at WrestleMania. He comes back to beat Jericho just to lose to Lesnar again. I mean, to lose against Curtis Axel and Paul Heyman now would be pretty tough. I think he's a big enough star to overcome it.
Yeah.
But it would be tough.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's time they've kind of, dragged out the whole Paul Heyman issue. I think to as much as they're going to get out of it, especially the promo. They've been just exhausting themselves with the back and forth, the whole father-son kind of parallel that Heyman is trying to draw with Punk. The promo, I loved when the beatdown when he had him, and I popped when Heyman did the Tommy Dreamer crucifix, and so I martyred for you. That was great. That was like
some habits are hard to get rid of, I guess.
But it worked in that situation. Because he just became incensed with that, and going into that, like, you kind of felt a little bit for Paul, even though you wanted Punk to get his revenge. Yeah. You're like, Paul, yeah. Maybe it's the one time he's not lying, but he's just so fueled by revenge.
Yeah.
That it oversees his, his love for CM Punk.
Yeah, I will take a 10-minute match with story over an hour match of great wrestling any day of the week, and even though Heyman's not a wrestler, the fact that he could tell a story the way that he does.
Yes.
And he can do it with just about anybody. I know that him and Punk make great music together, but I've seen Paul do this with a billion other guys. You would think that there's no way this guy could do a story, and he's able to get it out of him. My only thing about this matchup, and I know I'm going to probably get a lot of hate for this, and I'm sorry. I know he's the indie favorite. I know he's the internet favorite, and I know you guys love him so much. Curtis Axel, to me, is a fantastic, phenomenal in-ring worker. He is paint drying. There is not too much interesting about him. He's a great guy. He can work. He could put on great matches. He's not must-see TV for me. So for him to go over in any capacity on Punk, to me, it wouldn't be believable. It would be like, okay, he beat Punk. All right, well, I mean, I'm not there yet with you. I'm not. Maybe over time he'll win me over. A lot of guys have. It took Mark Henry 20 years to win me over, but he did. So I'm not going to count him out.
Right.
But as of right now, too soon. I mean, being the Intercontinental Champion is great. There's a lot of guys he can run with that belt and still, work your way up. You don't go from, what was he on NXT like a few months ago to being the WWE Champion. Like, it's not going to happen like that. So I think he's in a great position now. He's learning from two of the best. But I don't see him winning this match. I'm going to go CM Punk with this pick.
I'm going to go with Punk as well. But yeah, to another point, with Axel being kind of bland, that's the whole point that Vince still doesn't believe in. Like, you need managers. That's where I don't know why they did away with them. That's where you look back in the past. The Heenan family had like 10, 15 members in that stable. You had the Dangerous Alliance, Mr. Fuji, Jimmy Hart.
Yeah.
Guys who just had that imposing presence but could not entertain you with a promo to save their lives.
But see, this is coming from a great manager. You have to understand. I've heard this argument a million times. We need managers. You need good managers.
Well,
not everybody could be a manager. No. There's a lot of guys walking around these independents that claim to be managers and they're not. I don't know how many times I see a guy go to Men's Warehouse, get a suit, and then walk a guy to the ring and stand in his corner literally doing nothing for 30 minutes. You have to be able to tell a story. A manager has to work twice as hard as the wrestler because he can't do it with his body. He's got to talk. He's got to engage you. He has to make by the way, the manager has to get attention for someone else, not for him.
Yeah.
And that's the key. There aren't a lot of good managers out there that are worth the money that you have to pay to have them. That's why he did away with them, because that's money he has to spend on a guy who isn't working. He basically is just an add-on and garnish, and he wants his talent to be able to do that on his own. Unfortunately, John Laurinaitis hired a bunch of guys that couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So now you have to create these managers to come in, and now you have to dust off Dutch Mantel, and you have to bring Heyman back, and you have to bring all these characters back to get these talents over. But I think what he wants to do eventually is to have these guys learn so that they can do it on their own. I don't think there's a long-term plan when it comes to managers.
But it's like acting. Some people just are born with it. You really can't. And it's
like yourself. You are a wonderful manager. I've seen this guy work a million. As a ring announcer, he almost got me a couple of times. But this guy could do it all right here. See, coming from you, it sounds great because you can talk, you can tell a story, you can get a guy over. Not a lot of guys can. So it's hard to be like, well, they should sign you.
Yeah, that's...
But you keep hurting yourself by saying you don't know how
Triple H would not.
Yeah, you keep saying I'm never going to hire you.
Yeah, I'd be getting pedigreed every week on
TV.
You never know.
So. You never know, man. Colin Delaney was there for a couple months. You never know. Yeah, anything can happen, buddy.
Yeah.
What's that thing Austin says? Keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the
stars. That's right.
Yeah, that's right. That's what you gotta do. You guys should hire this right, or both. No, both. Hire both of us. Both and the lady who helps us put this together at 1495 Sports.
Yes.
You should hire 1495 Sports. I don't care. I have no shame in my game. Promote it all day long.
So we both said Punk for the handicap match.
Yes,
I'm back on
I think
track.
that deserves.
Yes, I got the tag.
Yes.
All right. So we have 2 more matches. Let's see if we can stay on.
Don't think I'm agreeing with him just for the tag.
No.
I am excited for the tag.
Yeah.
But I do have my own opinions.
The World Heavyweight Championship to be decided.
Oh yes.
Alberto Del Rio against Rob Van Dam.
It's almost impossible to say his initials without doing that.
Yeah.
Everyone has to do it.
Yeah, I had to contain myself when I got to intro him a couple months ago. I had to hold the mic and hold it.
Trust me, I've been there. When I announced Goldust, I did the same thing. I was like,
"Are you gonna do the?"
I wanted to breathe beforehand. I did, and I was like, I'll be a professional. So. Yes, the world title is on the line.
And with Van Dam now, Ricardo Rodriguez is now with Van Dam.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, what do you think of that? Not a fan of that family.
Well, you know what? It doesn't hurt. It's kind of in the middle with me. I mean,
they kind of just don't gel together.
My wife, who is just as big a fan as anybody on the planet and helps me with my career, she knows about as much as I do in this business. And the first thing she thought about was Fonzie. That was one of the things. Like, he worked well with a manager before.
Yeah.
But they're two different characters. I'm not comparing them, and she's not comparing them. That was just something she thought of because they have kind of like that similar friendship.
Yes.
With the high fives, and they're always, and he stands behind his guy. And you think, thank goodness, no whistle. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God, we've been spared the whistle. But it's kind of a 50-50 deal. I don't really think it helps either guy. Really, to be honest with you, I think Ricardo's already over.
Yeah.
Clearly, and Rob is Rob. So I mean, I don't have a problem with it, but it's not elevating anything.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything for me. There's nothing. Yeah, it looks weird when they're together in the ring. It's just like.
Get honest with you, I think Del Rio needed it more than I think Rob did.
Yeah, definitely.
I just thought, for the first time in a while, I actually thought they were finally clicking. Because when they first paired them up, it just looked and felt wrong. Because they started chanting for Ricardo. It was almost like Ricardo was getting more over than Del Rio. And then the face turn happened, and they both kind of started. They were finally on the same plateau, and then everything just went all kind of kooky.
Yeah.
I don't like. Nah, I don't really care much for it. No.
Yeah.
But
The match itself is going to be, I think, pretty damn
it's
good.
a contrast of styles.
Yeah, but sometimes those make for the best matches.
And sometimes
Yeah.
they don't. I don't have very high expectations for this match.
Really?
No, I don't. And that's just because I feel, and this is just me being me, my opinion, I don't see Del Rio as a ring general. Not to the extent where you could put him in there with anybody and it's magic. Then again, I never saw Rob as that either. So
Right.
who's leading who now in this matchup? That's my only concern. I think if they're on the same page and they're clicking, oh yeah, it'd be great. But you'll be able to tell how this match goes like in the first 2 minutes of this matchup. If they're not clicking out the gate, it's just gonna be all kinds of weird. So I don't know. It could be really, really great. It could not.
I think the contrast in styles might help them because you'll have Del Rio for a part using his submission techniques and his striking ability and with battle Van Dam, and then Van Dam, of course, you have his aerial tactics and his kicks and all that stuff. So I think they'll be able to slide each of those weapons in their arsenal in there, and I think it'll come together for an entertaining match.
A lot of room for improvisation.
Improvisation.
Something
I think,
like that.
yeah, I think
Yes, I think they have a lot of room for era and for glory. I think
Yeah.
there's going to be some mistakes, but at the same time, I think the crowd will totally be into it with the whole. I'm telling you, you can't say his name without doing it.
No, not at all.
And Del Rio, I think for the first time, is finally getting some genuine heat. I think
Yes.
they're actually finally getting behind the idea that he is a jerk.
Yes.
And he's been doing all the right things. I keep trying to tell people, you can't be a great heel until you've been a face. Unless you're naturally a heel. Unless you're just naturally a jerk. If you're a naturally great guy, you can't be a bad guy until you're a good guy. Because the audience is, why am I hating you?
Yeah.
Why? Okay. You're bad. I've only been watching wrestling for 50 years. I've seen a lot of bad guys. You got to have to bring a little more. And I think now he's bringing a little more. I think now he's at a point now where he's genuinely getting hated. Like, people are genuinely hating him. So I think the crowd's really going to be into it. Yes, no, that type of stuff. And I am going to go with Del Rio retaining. I know Rob is back. I know he's still over. I know the fans love him. He's still Rob Van Dam, and Triple H is still Triple H. And I just don't see. I love the business sense of putting him in the top spot and showcasing him. If you're going to have him contract, if you're going to have select dates, showcase him.
Yes.
I agree with that. He's not winning the belt. I don't see that.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you as well. I think Del Rio. I don't think they have a set course for where they want to go with him, but they know they want him in that position.
Oh yeah,
So
and he should be.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's definitely he's done his time in the E. He's gone up against some great opponents, and he's held his own from guys from Big Show to Rey Mysterio. He is. I mean, I don't know. Maybe in a sense, I wouldn't know about a ring general, but he can hang with all different styles.
I think it's
he's made Big Show look good.
I think it's a bonus that he worked out.
Yeah.
Because originally the idea of pushing him was internationally he's huge.
Right.
With the Hispanic community, and he's huge in Europe. They love his style over there. I mean, he outside of the U.S. Not to say that he's not popular here, but he's really popular overseas.
Yes.
And I think that was huge for them. They want to put him in that position where they can feature him because he puts eyes to the TV set. I think it's a bonus he worked out.
Yeah.
Because when he first got in, it was a little shaky, but he figured it out, and they had him work the right people, and he learned. And I think, people think I'm crazy, but I really believe that Edge feud is what really kicked it into high gear. I think Edge showed him it wasn't just these kicks and these different, the arm bar stuff. Don't focus so much on just that. Build toward everything else. So I think he's clicking now. I think he's better than he's ever been. I've been hearing retirement rumors for over a year, but I doubt that seriously now. He's really moving. Was he on his third title run right now? So,
yeah, I think so.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So again, it's his opponent. It's Rob. I don't see Rob winning the belt though. That's all it is.
So ADR.
ADR.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh man, this is why I see Team AJ. We think alike. Baby.
Yes.
We think this is not an accident. Okay.
So now let's see if we can get on that hot streak.
Yeah, I know.
The main
Yeah,
event.
Here we go.
For the WWE title. Randy Orton,
She's
the Apex
biggie.
Predator, against Daniel Bryan, the former American Dragon.
That's right. Oh, can we say that?
Yeah,
Oh,
I always.
Yeah, forget it, right?
It takes.
Screw this
It takes me a while. I was saying John Moxley for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Claudio Castagnoli.
I was going to say that earlier.
Yeah,
I wanted Tyler Black and Casanoli, but I didn't think we could go here on the hot tag, but we're hashtag
No, we go there. We
loco.
go there. Hot tag.
All
Hot
right.
tag. That's it.
Oof, I'm loving the hot tag. You'll see me back here.
Hot tag. We don't change names.
We don't abide by what you tell us.
Yes. There is a
yes.
past.
The WWE Championship is on the line. Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton. That's going to be a good match.
It is, and it's something new for the since John Cena is out of the picture completely now until their hope in January. So
Well, John
these
Who,
two-
I think is what they're looking for. John Who?
Yeah.
They're going to wait. We'll wait it out.
So now these guys are the focal point of the company.
Yes. Not entirely sure they wanted that.
Yeah.
But here we are. Daniel's been somewhat popular from the day he walked in. I think he had that Indian thing going for him where some people knew him, but the general population didn't.
Yes.
And he kind of had to, everyone thinks they're ready until they're ready. If you look back at 09, 2010 Daniel Bryan, it's not the Daniel Bryan that he is now. It's a completely different Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
He's as good now, in my opinion, as he's ever been. And the same could be said for Randy. I think Randy's really seasoned out. I think he's got a nice balance to where he needs to be. Overall, I think the match is going to be great more than just the moves. I think in general, the audience is so invested in this story that it's just, I can just imagine Detroit getting absolutely crazy this Sunday. It's going to be, ugh.
Yeah.
I have surround sound in my house because I'm Orsini and I can do that. And I got this system in my house that sits in front of me and behind me to get that arena-like feel. So when the audience goes crazy on Raw or SmackDown, my house literally shakes. It pisses everyone off in my building. And so whenever the crowd gets really crazy into it, my house I get into it, really, really into it. So I think for that particular match is going to be crazy.
Oh yeah, without question. The hottest feud in the E today, Daniel Bryan. Since I think he finally broke out, it was during the Team Hell No.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. Well, that next level stuff.
Yeah, with Dr. Shelby, because he had the in-ring work. Never a question about that. It was the
From the day you
personality.
walked in, right.
Yeah, it was just the personality, and that brought it out. The whole Kane, Dr. Shelby, because Kane is great at that too. As much as he's the monster, he is a fantastic entertainer. He has pulled off some of the stupidest things they've thrown at him, and he's made them entertaining. Things that you look at me like, oh, this is going to be so ridiculous.
Right.
And he gets into it, and he makes you buy into it. Like,
Not
okay.
bad for a big man.
No, not at
Usually
all.
Big men can't do that. Yeah.
No, yeah. So since then, Bryan has been, one of the top, solid, at least one of the solid hands that he has had. Mm-hmm. And I'd say for the past 3 to 4 months, I'd say he's been the MVP of ETV.
Yeah.
Phenomenal matches, great promos.
ETV, I like that.
Yeah, that's.
I like that one. You snuck that one in there.
I got
I got that. That was good.
and I agree with you with Orton. He has progressed leaps and bounds. I used to think he was very just bland, but he's evolved his in-ring work. He has added some more maneuvers. He's finally, I think, found the balance. I think because he hated being a face for a while. He even said it.
But he needed it.
He did, and I think now he's finally embraced being in the middle. Because now he's still trying to play it off too with the Helmsley saying, to patronize the people and saying this. Oh, you should get behind me. This is good for you, business.
Yeah. Why did you turn on me? I haven't done anything.
Yeah,
different.
exactly. So
Yeah.
it's probably a good role for him. So as long as they on pay-per-view, they keep the shenanigans to a minimum, I'm fine with it. We pay for the pay-per-view. Don't give us a screw job ending like they will on
a
Raw.
lot for the pay-per-view.
Yeah. So do it on Raw. Raw is free. Fine. At least I can change the channel.
Right.
I can't change the channel when I'm, throwing out 45,
I'll
55
come back
bucks.
to it. I'm just going to change it for that moment. Then I'll come back and there'll be like a Subway commercial on. Or
Right,
something
yeah.
Like that. Oh, Raw. I love you. Love you so much. I think as far as the picks go for this matchup, there are a couple of factors for me that factor in that most people won't know about, and that's Randy's personal issues, and that's what got him in trouble in the first place. It's why you haven't seen a belt around his waist in the last couple of years. I think there's more on the line for this match for Randy than there is for Daniel. I think Daniel's pretty set right now. I think they have an idea of how they want to use him. I think they have ideas and plans, and I mean Triple H. If you would have told me 4 years ago Let's just cap it off at 4, because we've known Daniel for
Oh yeah, I forgot it.
almost 2 decades now. But if you would have told me literally 4 years ago that Triple H would not only be pro Daniel Bryan, but would want Daniel Bryan at the top of every card, I would have called you crazy. And if you would have told me that the possibility of Daniel Bryan and CM Punk at a WrestleMania would be a dream match, I would have thought you were crazy. But it looks like we're headed down these paths.
If we get that, I said Punk has to keep Cult of Personality, and
That would be.
and Bryan needs to come out the final
Well,
countdown.
no, I would not want Punk coming out to Cult of Personality because it's diluted now the WWE. If he came out to the AFI Mizuru
Maybe, yeah, that one's true. But Bryan needs final countdown.
Yes.
I would.
Yes.
I'd
What's
mark
messed
up
up?
big
I
time
don't
for
think
that.
the WrestleMania audience would get it. That's probably why they wouldn't do it. If they did that match at the Hammerstein Ballroom, and people would go absolutely nuts. But I think where are we going? Louisiana on the next one. I don't think they're going to get it.
It's still a dream of mine. I would love to see that.
Yeah, that was a dream of mine too. I'm not trying to kill your dream.
No,
I'm
no,
on board. I am on board. Team Agent,
Yes.
Wonder Twin Powers activate there. Okay. As far as the pick for this matchup, I'm actually going to say that Randy retains. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't have any titles changing hands tonight, but that's fine. It's happened before, so I just don't. I don't see him losing it tonight for the simple reason of I think the WWE universe and management have kind of gotten used to Daniel chasing.
Yes.
I don't think they're ready just yet for him. I think the taste that they got at SummerSlam was enough. They kind of resetted the clock on the chase. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe Survivor Series around that time, especially with they got 2 pay-per-views leading up to Survivor Series. And Survivor Series is only like a month and a half away, so I see Randy retaining the championship only for the fact that the temperature's not right yet. Soup's not ready.
Yeah, I see this still being a test for Daniel Bryan. This is his, without being in a set feud with John Cena, without having him as maybe they would think, carrying him in the promos. Now he's the man carrying for the face side, carrying the ball. Right. He's carrying the company on his back. So I think they're letting him they'll going to see how far it'll take him before either the fans stay with him or they'll drop off. But, my friends and, anybody who watches and listens to me, they know I'm against the Triple H thing and I hate seeing him buried every week. But, it is a good thing for him if they end up going in the route of actually pulling the trigger, putting him over.
Right.
I like having everybody at ringside during his matches because they see him as a threat. Mm-hmm. But if they, continue to bury him, then people are going to be, all right, why am I still cheering for this guy? Put him then put him back in a feud with, put him in a feud with Curtis Axel.
What?
Get it
He
over
has
with.
potential? Where's my shovel? For years, I was always under the impression that he kind of got a bad rap for the whole...
Triple H?
Yes, well, let me explain myself. Hold on. He's already getting ready to cut my head off. Hold on a second. This was years ago.
Okay.
Years ago.
I'm listening.
This is years ago. I actually thought for a while there he was getting a bad rap, and I was drinking the Kool-Aid that was labeled Evolution. And I was like, well, he can't be that bad with the young talent because Evolution was almost 10 years ago. Since then, his true colors has really shown, and he's a lot more... I think what woke a lot of people up is he's a little bit more vocal about it now.
Yeah.
Where he'll tell you right to your face, no, not really, I'm not
Now
really
he has the
into
official
it.
power.
Well, it started before that, actually.
Yeah.
When the DX thing started up again, they were actually doing skits.
Yeah.
Where he was burying talent.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like when they did the thing when they put Spirit Squad in the case and they put OVW on the side of it.
Yep.
Now they were getting really open about the fact that he was burying talent intentionally. So at that point, that's when everybody was like, all right, maybe it's not so much a myth anymore. And then I think the Edge promo when he was listing all
that
the
was
guys.
fantastic.
You said Cena wouldn't do it. You said I wouldn't do it. You said so.
And I've been telling you that people for years. Edge even listed the names that I have listed.
Right.
So.
But see, at the other side of the coin now, I mean, he's backing all the guys that we're backing. So now is he doing it to placate to the audience, or is he genuinely of the idea that, oh wait, maybe I've been wrong this whole time. Maybe these indie guys aren't so terrible. I mean, think of all the names that they've signed recently. They're taking all of our guys away from us.
Yeah.
Then again, they give us the Performance Center where any Johnny-come-lately can come and work out and get a shot. So. Triple H, help me out, bro. Where are you on this talent thing? I have no idea where you're headed. Hit me up. Call me. All right, buddy? Call me.
I think it's to play safe the fans.
He really hates you. She should sign him because that's what's good for business. Isn't that what she said? AJ Pan is what's good for business.
I mean, let's talk about our younger guys. There was one show. Did he need to pedigree Brad Maddox? He's a talented kid, and just out of nowhere, he pedigreed him. Wade Barrett one time. Triple H was walking to the ring, and Barrett was coming out for his match, and he feels the needs to beat up Wade Barrett. Did not lead to a feud, did not lead to nothing.
I'd love to beat
He
up
just
Wade
smacked the
Barrett,
poor young, uprising star that you try to build with Nexus, and now he's looked at his joke, and now it's Daniel Bryan shaking
What?
him.
You didn't get a pop? Pedigree. You know what the
Prove
funny,
me wrong,
you know what,
Trips.
you know what the funny
Have
thing
Daniel
is?
Bryan go over you at Survivor Series. How about that? I'll wear my Triple H T-shirt that I have from DX days.
You know what I actually think? It's kind of funny. We're totally bashing this guy.
Tap out to cattle mutilation.
Oh my god. The one move he said,
Yeah.
he does not.
I know you want to
do.
take the Pepsi plunge,
Oh,
but
boy.
tap out to cattle mutilation. I will rock my Triple H shirt. I'll buy the hat.
At this stage of the game, I really believe he thinks giving these guys the pedigree is a rub.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
he's doing them a favor
Yeah,
by
that's what he
pedigreeing
thinks,
them
yeah.
on live television.
Yes.
But so your pick for the
I
last
am
match?
gonna pick Orton.
You're also.
Yeah, so we finished it off for 3 straight. Yeah. Yeah,
That's
I
right.
think they're gonna wait to see. I think this is Bryan's last test to see if he could, hang without having John Cena, and if he can carry, and if the buys and if the fan reaction is good
Right.
with this main event. I think then they'll be solidified in their decision to keep Daniel Bryan at the top of the card.
Well, we didn't differ too much on our match picks.
No.
We both agree also with the fact this is going to be a very interesting pay-per-view.
Yes.
It looks to me like it's the start of a lot of stuff that's about like a whole new season, like fall season coming up. They're going to
Yeah.
start all these new different programs, start wrapping some stuff up and get ready for the road to WrestleMania, my favorite time of year. Which, by the way, I will be in Louisiana.
You'll be? Okay.
Yes, I'm running my own show down there, so
very
I'll
cool.
be. Yeah, I'll
You're
be.
Red River Pro. That's correct.
Right. I'm
Feel free to plug that.
I'm trying to get down with the WrestleMania weekend stuff, by the way, because I already have a show planned for that Friday. So if y'all can hook me up with the Saturday thing, I'll make a whole weekend of it. I don't care. I'm crazy. I'm local. I don't care. I love wrestling. I'll do whatever. I want you to come too.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely work on that.
I
Yeah.
want you to come too. 4095 Sports. Everybody come down to
Everybody come
Louisiana.
down, yeah.
WrestleMania weekend.
We're gonna make it a party.
So I had a lot of fun. This was fun.
Thank you.
I
This
wanna
was
do
great
this
having
again.
you. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. The fun shows are actually when we cover TNA because there are so many differing opinions on
Like
the
why
talent,
is- like-
on the product, on the booking.
Oh my goodness! I could see that being.
So
I used to host not host. I used to co-host a podcast at the TNA and stuff. It can be brutal. I understand.
Yeah, but it's fun.
Yes. So hire us.
Yes.
We're both really good at what we do. We could figure out that Kali situation like that, bro.
Definitely.
Like that. Had a lot of fun.
Definitely.
Thank
Great
you
work
so
with
much.
you. Hot tag to finish it off. Boom. AJ Orsini,
Yes.
and tell the people how to follow you on Facebook. Twitter.
You can, the social media stuff, right? That's huge now.
That is, yeah.
All right,
I know. I'm
yeah.
slowly getting into it myself. I'm not.
You gonna plug yourself too?
Oh yeah, I'll do it this time. Yeah.
So, do you want me to go first?
Yeah. Why don't you? Yeah.
I'm the guest host. So
You're
I'll
the
go
guest.
first. AJ Orsini, obviously, is my name on Facebook. At AJ Orsini 96 on Twitter. At my company, Red River Pro Wrestling, also on Facebook. At RR Pro Wrestling on Twitter.
And of course, you know me, AJ Pan, America's favorite agent on Facebook. AJ Pan _PC on Twitter. And you can follow me there and FWWrestling.com. We have our next event coming up October the 12th, the Openweight Grand Prix. We should have something fun for that, discussing that event. So keep tuned for that.
That's right. And,
And-
of course, 1495 Sports.
Yes, of course, 1495 Sports. We will be at the, can we mention that? Yeah, on the 21st, next weekend, we'll be covering the Divas Spectacular Convention, holding by
Oh.
Spectacular Signings.
Divas.
I believe I'm going to be stepping in for the authentic one that day. So
Oh.
I'm doing, a little...
Hey, you slacking,
I'm
Lou.
gonna try to do you proud, Brian. I'm gonna take your spot for the. Not take your spot. I'll take your spot.
Be careful with that
Be careful,
phrase in this
Brandon.
business. I will be assisting you.
Brandon's
I'm the
Brandon's actually celebrating his birthday that day, so
Yes,
he's getting a
he
well-deserved
is.
day
He will
off.
be- yes, he's looking young for 66. By
Yes,
the way.
yes.
He
he needs to grow out the hair like
The
me. Again. I
yoga
saw
and
the
the bull,
pictures.
he can't. I don't think facial hair is. His body is not. He doesn't work. I'm not gonna bash him when he's not here. I'll wait till he gets here.
Yeah, we'll do that.
We've got history.
Yeah, they have history.
So yeah. So thanks for having me, guys.
No problem. Thank you, and check out AJ Orsini online, and check out Red River Pro.
Don't stutter on
No,
it.
I'm getting excited.
No, I'm sweating at the
That's
idea.
it. Red River Pro. Follow them. Check them out. FWE, and we'll be back. Keep following 1495 for all the updates on what we'll be doing.